Hi, and welcome to my channel where I make dishes inspired by some of my favorite video game characters. Today's dish is inspired by Haru Okumura from Persona 5. I'm always a huge fan of a sweet and gentle female character, and Haru is as sweet and gentle as they come. I love her kind look and personality, and honestly it's a shame that she joins the Phantom Thieves so late because I wish we had more of her in the game. Haru has such a pure soul, but simultaneously has one of the sickest melee weapons, an axe, and one of the most extra guns, a grenade launcher. When we were first introduced to her as the beauty thief, I knew she was going to stick out from the crowd as one of my favorites. As you get to know her through her social link, you learn that one of her biggest passions is gardening. Haru wants to have some of the best quality produce as she follows her father's footsteps in the food industry, but instead of a large fast food chain, she wants to go the cafe route. So, Haru is as sweet as a dessert, but grows some of the best vegetables. Luckily, there's one vegetable that sticks out in my mind as a great dessert ingredient: carrots in carrot cake. And there's a form of dessert that goes great in a relaxed cafe setting: scones. So, we are making carrot cake scones with a cream cheese glaze that are fit for a beauty thief. Here are the ingredients we'll need: all-purpose flour, dark brown sugar, baking powder, cinnamon, salt, nutmeg, unsalted butter, cold and room temperature for the scones and glaze respectively, grated carrot, chopped pecans, white chocolate chips, heavy cream, optional coarse or turbinado sugar, cream cheese, powdered sugar, and vanilla extract. We'll start by preparing our dough for the scones. The first thing I'll do is prepare the grated carrots and chopped pecans. That way the whole process goes quickly and smoothly. First, let's wash, peel, and grate the carrots until we get about 1 cup. I'm adding the carrot to a bowl to add to the dough later. To that bowl, I'll also need a half cup of chopped pecans. The pecans don't need to be completely shredded, just chopped small. The last thing I'll add to this bowl is a half cup of white chocolate chips, and then I'll set the bowl to the side. Next, we'll grab a large bowl to start officially preparing the dough. Whisk together 1.5 cups of flour, a 1/4 cup of dark brown sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. To this large bowl, add 5 tablespoons of cold, unsalted butter and cut it into the flour mixture using either a fork, your hands, or a pastry cutter. Mix the butter in until it starts to look like wet sand. Next, we'll grab that bowl of carrots, chocolate chips, and pecans and stir it into the mixture. After that, pour in 3/4 cup of heavy cream and stir until a dough starts to form. Then transfer the dough onto parchment paper or a lightly floured surface. Form the scone dough into a large circle that is about a 1/2 inch thick. Sorry, Haru. Next, like a pizza, you'll cut the circle into 8 wedges with a knife or dough scraper. The scones will be a little wet and sticky, so be careful as you gently transfer each wedge onto a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Once all 8 scones are on the baking sheet, lightly brush each one with a tiny bit of heavy cream, and then sprinkle with optional turbinado or granulated sugar. Place the whole baking sheet into either your freezer for 10 minutes or your fridge for 30 minutes before baking. This will help to keep the scones more tender. If you don't have the time or room in your fridge, you can skip this step and start baking. Feel free to preheat your oven earlier in the process if you are doing it this way. Speaking of preheating, while the scones are chilling, preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the scones have cooled down enough, place them into the oven and bake for about 16 to 20 minutes until the scones start to brown. While the scones bake, it's a perfect time to prepare your cream cheese glaze. Grab a mixing bowl and combine all of your ingredients. You'll need 2 tablespoons of softened unsalted butter, 2 ounces of softened cream cheese, a 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and a pinch of salt. Once all together, beat the glaze on low and then gradually increase the speed until the glaze is smooth. When the scones are nice and golden brown, remove them from the oven and let the scones cool on a wire rack. Let the scones cool for about 5 minutes before adding the glaze to make sure that the glaze does not completely melt. Now when it comes to the glaze, it will likely be pretty thick. If you want to thin it out to be able to drizzle a little more easily on the scones, you can heat it up in a microwave for about 15 to 30 seconds. When ready, drizzle all over your scones, and from here, it's time to enjoy. Scones always used to seem intimidating to me, but they are surprisingly easy to make every time I do. They are a perfect size for me to snack on 1 or 2 at a time, and since scones are not too rich or sweet, I never feel super heavy after eating them. The cream cheese glaze is such a good partner to the nicely spiced carrot cake flavoring, and like Haru probably would, they would be great in combination with some relaxing tea. I'm sure Haru would feel so proud of herself for not only growing good quality carrots, but being able to turn them into a dessert like this to serve to others. I see these scones sitting in her display cases for customers to buy and enjoy, and I see Haru smiling every time someone requests one. Of course, she'd also love to bake these to share with her fellow Phantom Thieves on the rare chances they get together. Even Akechi might smile as he takes a bite. The recipe card is in the video description if you'd like a more quick and concise version to give it a try. Like if you want a bite, subscribe for more geeky treats, and comment what foods Haru reminds you of. Thanks for following along.